Hello and welcome to a quick look at the demo for Voice of Cards The Isle Dragon's Roar. I'm playing this on a PlayStation 5 via backwards compatibility, but you can obviously get this on a normal PS4 as well. The demo is also available right now on the Nintendo Switch and Steam if that's where you'd prefer to play it. Now then, when I reached 1,000 subs, I said that I was going to focus my content down and move forward in the direction that the channel seems to sort of naturally be going in. However, I also said that I may put up some shorter videos on stuff that interests me from time to time, and this is basically that. And of course, if you're new to the channel and you end up enjoying this video by the end, please do consider subscribing for more content like this. So I'm not really going to script this one, I've just got some bullet points here to keep me on track, but I guess first things first. What's Voice of Cards all about? Well, it's actually a bit of a weird one. It's kind of like a mix between a card game, a JRPG, and Dungeons & Dragons. So what do I mean by that? Well, as you can probably see, everything in the game is represented as a card. The characters themselves are cards, the weapons they use are cards, the enemies are cards, and even the world you explore is made of cards, and you're probably sensing a pattern by now. There are definitely some intricacies to it, as you might expect, but it basically works like this. You control this game piece that you can see here, and you move around the world which is made of cards, and it kind of acts like an overworld. And when I say overworld, I mean sort of like you used to get in the original Final Fantasy games, you know, the older ones. And as you explore it, you'll discover encounters and fight enemies in random battles, again, a lot like the original Final Fantasy games. The events are usually some kind of cutscene that progresses the story, or sometimes it may actually require you to make a choice or roll a dice to resolve the encounter. And that right there is where I feel the D&D stuff comes in. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not exactly like Dungeons & Dragons, but it has that feeling of adventuring and encountering random things, which I think works really well in this game. There's also this really charming narrator that's fully voice acted for almost every line of text in the game. There are a few here and there that he doesn't voice, but at least as far as the demo's concerned, he will be the only voice you hear. He doesn't exactly put voices on for the other characters, you know, he doesn't impersonate the other characters, but what he does do is narrate their lines, which I thought was pretty cool.
From upon her throne, the Queen regards the adventurers. So you are disciples of the Order. The youngest of the three steps forward. She holds herself with well-born grace. I am Winifred of the Ivory Order, Your Majesty, she says. I lead this fellowship.
For me, he really helped give the game this kind of, I don't know, like storybook quality, and I really do think it sounds great, and it does set the tone. The battles themselves play out as a turn-based JRPG with only some minor card and board game additions. As you explore that overworld that I mentioned earlier, you'll sometimes trigger a random battle, and when this happens, a sort of board is placed over the top of everything else, and the battle plays out on that board. You'll see here that your party of 3 is at the bottom and the enemies are at the top, and there's also this little box on the left containing gems which help you play more of your powerful attacks. It's probably best to think of those gems as something like mana, and you gain one of these every time one of your character's turn starts, or as the game puts it, makes a move. So you know, you'll generally always have one to play with because you gain one as that character makes a move, but some of the bigger spells can cost, you know, 3 or upwards, so you may actually want to save them for later down the line. You'll also notice some cards in the bottom left, and these are your sort of healing items and other curatives which you can access at any time on your turn. As far as I can tell from the demo, all the characters heal up to full health after a battle ends, and I don't know if that's true, you know, for the whole demo, or what the situation is with that. But I personally like it when RPGs do it because I like to focus more on the battles, you know, sort of than the health management in between them, but of course you may feel differently. The characters and enemies all have their own stats, equipment, and different attacks that they can do. The 3 numbers that you can see on each card are attack on the left, defense on the right, and the red circle in the middle is their health or HP. From some images I've seen on the official website, it looks like we'll have quite a few more characters to choose from in the full game, although I'm not sure if the other playable characters are recruited through the story or quests, or if you choose them at the start of the game, but I suspect you probably meet them in the story, right? But anyway, regardless of who's in your party, you can buy or find new equipment for them, which of course improves their stats. They can also level up and learn new skills, but you can only have 4 skills equipped to a character at once, despite them being able to learn many more than that. Some attacks don't actually require any gems or mana at all, while some need quite a bit. You've also got the ability to get critical hits, and sometimes the game will ask you to roll a dice to determine extra damage. The game also features one of those weakness systems, which is exactly what you think it is. You know, some elements are strong against others and do more damage, while some are weaker and do less damage. Personally, I probably could have done without that system, but it's not the end of the world and I don't think it will ruin the game or anything. I guess it just feels a little bit overused to me these days, but I don't know, I'm no expert, so let me know what you think of it in the comments. And as far as the demo goes, that's really about it. There are a few minor things like the story and events themselves and a secondary card game based on classic playing cards, like hearts, diamonds and all that. If you decide to give the demo a try, you'll obviously experience all this for yourself, and I really wouldn't want to spoil it here, so I do urge you to give it a try. But what I will say though is I was very impressed by the quality of this game. Initially, before I'd actually sat down to play the game, I didn't think much of it at all. I believe it was shown at the recent Nintendo Direct, if I'm not mistaken, and as I say, I barely even glanced at it. But I randomly ended up reading somewhere that the game was directed by Yoko Taro, who's the man behind the Drakengard series, which eventually spun off into the Nier series. And I didn't personally click with Nier Automata, and I've never really played any Drakengard games, but you really can't deny that man's flair for storytelling and his incredible imagination. I respect the man and so decided to give the demo a try, and this is one of those situations where I can't believe I almost passed this up. I can't really see this game being for everyone, but it's definitely doing it for me at least. In my opinion, the artwork is absolutely beautiful and the tone and narration really helps set the mood. I'm intrigued as to where the story goes, and I found the exploration to be really fun and enjoyable. The battles themselves are pretty cool, and I found the random events to be really interesting. It's also got this really small touch that I really appreciated, where you can actually jump to any card on the overworld that you've uncovered without having to walk there. So let's say you go out and grind some levels, in the open world kind of area, and when you're finished, you just want to go back to town because you're done. Or you can just move the right stick over to the town and press the button to jump there. And that means that you don't have to walk back through random battles and events to get to where you want to go. And I thought that was a really neat little touch. It's a nice detail, I think, and it shows the level of care and thought that went into this game. They obviously realized that people wouldn't want to constantly backtrack and have to do random battles if they didn't want to, and it's nice that they included the option to skip over them. But yeah, overall, I'm really looking forward to picking up the real game on October 28th, 2021. The issue is that it doesn't have a physical edition and costs around, I think, £25 on download here in the UK, which is about $30 in the US, I think. And, that is right on my upper price limit for buying digital games, but it does seem very good, so I may have to bite the bullet on this one and just go for it. I will of course reach out to Square Enix for a review code, but they probably won't get back to me due to the current size of my channel, and I don't expect them to just hand out codes to anybody. I will of course try to get one, but I'll probably just pick it up anyway and review it for the channel. If you want to try the demo yourself, it's out right now on PS4, PS5, Nintendo Switch and Steam. If you do decide to download it, let me know what you think of it. It's probably not for everyone, and it probably won't have too much mainstream appeal. It may even go completely unnoticed by a lot of people. The way I see it though, some of the best games ever made are the obscure titles that eventually gain the hidden gem accolade, so who really knows? But anyway, if you have any questions about the game or just have something you want to say, please feel free to leave a comment and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. If you enjoyed the video or found it useful, I hope today will be the day that I earn your subscription, and if you want to support the channel even further, all the important links are in the video description down below. But with all that said, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.